Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Pavlova. That's right, the dessert wonder from down under. This was invented in New Zealand or Australia, depending on who you talk to, and apparently it was created in honor of a famous Russian ballet dancer by the name of Anna. Shoot, what was her name? So terrible with names. Anyway, it will come to me, but in the meantime, let's get started with this easy and delicious dessert. All right, in a bowl, I want you to put some granulated white sugar and a little bit of cornstarch, and just take a whisk and mix that up, and when it's all perfectly combined, and there's no big chunks, set it aside till needed. That was easy. All right, next we're going to go with some egg whites in a very clean bowl. I have 4 large egg whites, and all we're going to do is take our wire whisk and start beating. Now, of course, you can do this with an electric beater, but you know what? If you don't feel like cleaning that stuff, you can do it by hand. It's a good little workout, burn a few calories. Of course, it helps if you have arms like mine, which if you're trying to picture are kind of a cross between, I don't know, like a redwood tree and SEAL Team 6. But even if you're just of normal strength, you can do this by hand. Not that big of a deal. And the whole trick here is we're just incorporating air into the egg whites, so you want to use nice, long, deep strokes. Make sure your whisk is going along the bottom of the bowl and then up over the top. And what we're trying to do is get to something called the ribbon stage. And all that is when you pull your whisk out of the egg whites, you see how those ribbons kind of stay on the surface for a second or two? That's the ribbon stage. So we're going to stop right there, and we're going to start introducing our sugar mixture. So instead of dumping it in all at once, I want you to sprinkle in about a quarter of it. Give it a whisk until you can't feel any of the grains of sugar. It's going to take about 30 seconds or so. So dump a little in, whisk it in. When you think it's dissolved, dump in a little more, whisk it in, dump in a little more, whisk that in, and so forth. Okay? So I did mine in 4 additions, but it really doesn't matter. You're basically going to gradually whisk in the sugar mixture. And you'll notice as you do that, the mixture becomes very shiny and kind of thick and pretty beautiful. And when the last of the sugar has been whisked in, we're on to the final ingredients, which are a little bit of white vinegar and a little bit of vanilla. Okay? We're going to mix that in. And what we're going to do here is we're going to keep whisking and whisking until we have some gorgeous peaks. And of course, this is the major advantage of a video over a written recipe. You can actually just watch and see what I want your peaks to look like, because the names can be confusing. You got your soft peaks, your medium peaks, your firm peaks, your stiff peaks, your you better call the doctor if it still looks like that in 4 hours peaks. All kinds of different names. So instead of worrying about what we're calling it, I just want you to keep whisking it until it looks like that. All right? You see that? Not too soft, not too firm, just right. You do not want to over whip this meringue. At that stage, we're going to switch to a spatula. We are going to scrape this onto a baking sheet I've lined with a silicone mat. Of course, you can use baking parchment paper, no problem. And by the way, you people that draw the circles on the paper so your pavlova is perfectly round, can you please stop doing that? Thank you. And what we're trying to do here is form a disc about 2.5 inches high by however wide it is. I don't know, what's that, 6, 7 inches? Something like that. Try to get it as even as you can, but don't stress too much, because after this is baked, we're simply going to top this with whipped cream and fresh fruit. So that looks good. That's going to go in a preheated 250-degree oven for 1 hour. So a nice low oven. After the hour is up, your pavlova is going to kind of look like that, hopefully. I want you to turn off the oven, crack the door, and just let it cool in that warm oven, okay? Just leave it in there for like an hour. When it's completely cooled, you can take it out and serve it. That's it. How incredibly easy is that? Super easy. The outside's going to get a very light tan blush. It's going to get crunchy. The inside's going to stay soft and chewy and kind of like a marshmallow. So cool. And at this point, like I said, normal people just put some whipped cream on, some fresh berries, bring it to the table, and everybody's happy. But you know what? I'm not that normal. I tried something new and exciting, which kind of happened by accident. As I was transferring this onto my plate, some of the side cracked, and it also cracked down the middle, which is totally normal and extremely common. This is really, like I said, brittle on the outside. So I wasn't too concerned. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put whipped cream on it anyway. It doesn't matter. But then I had a thought. What if I took a fork and started giving it the old tappa-tappa? And just intentionally crack the whole surface in kind of an irregular pattern. And if it came out cool looking enough, I could just serve the whipped cream and the berries on the side. And this is what I ended up with. So you know what? I haven't decided yet. Either that was a great idea and that looks super cool, or that was a really dumb idea and it looked stupid and I wasted 5 minutes. My friend Tamar from Starving Off the Land told me it looked like her driveway, which made me laugh out loud. Or should I say, cracked me up. And yes, at this point I chickened out, and I decided just to top it with whipped cream and berries as is traditional. So I just took some very lightly sweetened whipped cream, real whipped cream, a couple drops of vanilla in there, put that on top, and then topped it with fresh strawberries. Fresh berries on this, very traditional. Kiwis, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. Really any kind of fresh fruit you like will work. So I covered mine with beautiful ripe sweet strawberries, and then I like to do one extra little trick here. I heat up a little bit of apricot preserves in the microwave with a couple drips of water, and I like to paint the strawberries with that. And not too much, just lightly caress the tips, just like that. Gives it a beautiful gloss, a nice shine, and I really like how that golden fruit kind of looks on the white whipped cream. All right, let me slice a piece, and no matter what yours looks like, underneath that whipped cream, it should slice beautifully like mine did. Look at that, so perfect. Oh, son of a that was unfortunate. But that's okay, straighten it back up, no harm, no foul. Let me dig in here. That outside gets super crispy, crunchy, which is an amazing contrast to that soft, marshmallowy center. And of course, you have the whipped cream and the fresh berries. That is a great dessert. Thank you, New Zealand/Australia. Anyway, strawberries are in peak season right now, so great timing if you want to give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more information, as usual. And as always, enjoy.